I'm sipping, 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 I'm sipping.
Sipping, I'm sipping, I'm sipping, I'm sipping, I'm sipping, I'm sipping.
Wait, what?
Sipping, I'm 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 sipping.
This is Sippin' with Sammy. I am Mr. Fly Shit, only the one and only Sippin' with Sammy. Sam Malone, Barstool Rug. If you ain't sippin' with Sammy, you ain't sippin' right. Please get your fucking life together.
It's all the way live. It's all the way live.
Fucking yuppie transplants. Move the fuck out. Get out of our fucking city. You ain't even fucking born.
My bad. I got us cussing all early.
I know.
You know. What's up, man? Happy Monday, happy hour. I know it's the end of happy hour. It's probably karaoke time for some of y'all, but what's up with y'all, man? Hopefully everybody's having a good evening. If you in here, tapped in, please respond and comment in the chat. Please make sure you like this live. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I will appreciate that, and I'm going to clap for you in advance because I trust y'all. I know y'all riding because y'all been following directions this far. Oops, shouldn't show that on. But what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Kay's in here. Kay, how you feeling?
Oh, I'm good. How you?
I'm decent, man. I'm
about to check the audio real quick.
I'm in limbo. So go ahead, you do the audio thing, and I'll warm the people up, as so to speak. But yeah, if you tapped in, you see we dropped another dope episode on Thursday. What I do like about our guests is, if you're not familiar, a lot of times when they come through this platform, we're recording these sometimes a month and a half, 2 months before you guys are going to see them. So there's a little anticipation even from the participants. So when they're excited about it, when I send it to them and let them know like, yo, we dropping this week or whatever have you, or when they actually watch it and start giving feedback and it's as much or better than what they remembered or expected, it's a stone cold groove, man. So shout out to everybody that's been a part of everything we do. If you don't notice, if you ain't subscribed, you probably didn't. We constantly putting out shorts and reels and clips on YouTube of people that have been here 2, 3, 4, 5 months ago. Mm-hmm. If it's pertinent, if it's popping, if it come across, sometimes it's just a spacing and timing thing. But we're constantly supporting the people that come on this platform, making sure that y'all keep seeing them, getting the highlights. Maybe it'll make you excited enough to go back and watch the episode if you didn't catch the whole episode, but maybe you could just catch a gem. Maybe they just threw you one and you can roll with that. And we try our best to put out as much content as possible. And shout out to K from Fine Productions. I think we actually are one of the most productive platforms in the area when it comes down to videos and stuff on our YouTube page. So.
Absolutely. Actually, this week coming up, there's some days that we have 3 different pieces of content dropping in one day. So
Yeah, and I feel like that's not new and it's not normal. A lot of the platforms that I follow, they drop a lot of great content, but they drop it in droves. So they might drop 5 clips in a day, and then it stops until like 5 days later. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, no, we drop.
And the clips be fire, they be going up, and I know they serving their purpose, but we drop a little more often than that.
Yeah, we drop every day for sure. But it's usually at least one short a day, but usually there's some sort of, medium form content in there too. If not, then there's at least 2 shorts that day.
Yeah, because sometimes I get the alerts back to back. And sometimes by the time I even look at them, they already went up. So it's amazing. It's amazing. I love the support. I hope y'all are entertained. We're going to keep y'all entertained. I just got a confirmation on the interview we doing this week that is legendary, that I'm excited about. Kay going to learn some shit because she don't know nothing about it.
Mm-mm.
But
Definitely don't.
She going to figure out some things by Thursday. I'm going to let her see some shit.
Mm-hmm. So we going to address the elephant in the room?
What's the elephant? My wristband or my sunglasses?
I guess the combination of them both.
All right, so let's talk about my day, man. Let's talk about my day. Because, what's a Sammy day without excitement? I'm watching the chat, so if y'all in here, please comment. For the last few days, I say, I've been having discomfort in my left eye. It's been a little painful. It's been a little, you can just feel like it's something different, and you just like, I hope this is not that. I hope, like, this is something light. And cause I've been here before, about a year and a half ago. So yesterday, I had a full day. I had to run around early. You know what I mean? We'll talk about why later. And I was out till late. And until late night, I was all right. By the end of the night, I looked at my eye and was like, and no, I was in pain all day. And I was sacrificing to make sure we handle business. But at the end of the night, it was like, I literally had to hit my folks at work, like, yo, if this look like this when I wake up, I won't be there. And woke up this morning and went to the which is somewhere I've been way too much for plenty of different reasons. I was an athlete. I was epileptic as a kid. I've been through a lot of shit with these hospitals, and I hate them. But
We know.
you got to do what you got to do. And I went in there. They poked at my eye. They jabbed at it. They put shit in my eye. They shined a bunch of lights in my light-sensitive eye. They eye tested me on the bad eye. They x-rays, blood work, chest x-ray, all type of madness I went through before lunchtime.
Which, in your defense, you were actually very patient and calm and collected through it all, which I was pleasantly surprised by.
Shout out to the old white lady at Triage, Joe. And she's not even old, but she's older.
Yeah, she was like mid-50s, maybe.
All right, I'll take it. But she was very, very dope. She was sweet. She was patient. She was very helpful in every way possible. Like everything was take your time. Do you need help? Watch your step. Do that. Like she was a sweetheart. She even asked me about this, which people always think it's a Fitbit or something, but it's actually a marketing device that I got from the homie. And we had a conversation about that. And then she had to help me take off my wrist jewels.
Shout out, Wrist Jules.
And I'm thinking that 2 of these chains was on one clasp. So she's still de-jeweling me. And I'm like, I didn't even realize I had that much stuff on when I woke up. Like, I must have been lit last night. And Rich just threw it all on my neck. And I'm walking around like a broke rapper, but with good jewelry. Anyway.
That's
So
basically accurate.
so what happens is I get prescriptions for the same eye shit that I had to get before. One of them I've gotten and it's helped immensely. The other one we still trying to figure out, but no biggie because I'll take 50% for what I was going through. I even told C Cash yesterday when we was running around, I'm like, people have no idea how much pain I'm constantly in when we doing these things. And he was like, what you mean? And I was like, my knee still flares up from the surgery. You know what I mean? And that's sometimes work-based, weather-based, whatever. My knee get moody. Sometimes my knee just don't like me. My shoulder and my neck and back from a few car accidents. Running around yesterday with those two things and my eye acting crazy. And all I can do is try to do the most and be the most productive that I can be. I was driving yesterday with light sensitivity and at nighttime. So it's like it was a lot, but today we got some answers. They took blood work. I didn't get the, feedback on that yet. I guess next person I talk to will have those results and the x-ray results, but I won't be to work for a while. I'm taking a couple days off. I gotta take these drops around the clock. I can't be in my environment that I work in like that. So it is what it is. I'm not tripping. A lot of people got it worse. This is just something that I gotta deal with again. But that's why I'm rocking the cheap jewelry on my wrist, not my neck. Never want to disrespect the sponsor.
Right.
But other than that, shout out to Rich Jules. Been a sponsor for a while. She got me out here with more chains on than I ever had on, unless somebody took a picture of me when I was a baby with a bunch of jewelry on that I don't know about.
Sammy, 3 chains.
3 chains? I don't know if I'm keeping up 3, but for now. No, because it's a lot. Like, this shit get tangled and shit. I don't know about this life. But shout out to Riz. She thinks I'm worth it. And I also got, a little more expensive bracelet on the other side. Also from Rich Jules. Shout out Marissa. Shout out her folks. Um, do we do the weekend recap now? Was that sufficient? Did I give a good Sammy day?
Yeah, I think you covered it all.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Let's get
So-
into the weekend.
I mean, that just leads into why I didn't necessarily invite a bunch of people over today because it's been a long effing day,
Right.
and I just want to make sure that when I bring people around, everybody is great to the best of our ability. And today didn't feel like that kind of day. So salute to everybody that actually has told me that they're gonna come through and do a live on a Monday. That y'all excited about it. We got y'all. We got plenty Mondays. But as you
Absolutely.
see, I'm gonna do it regardless. And if you want to see the eye, we looking pretty good right now. But it'll probably be ugly in an hour, so we'll see. I'll do it. I'll do another reveal in an hour for y'all. Why not? I'm here.
Can't wait.
Weekend recap.
Get into it.
What did I do on a Friday? I don't think I did none on Friday, right? I watched sports and shit.
Yeah.
So Saturday. Fuck did I do Saturday?
You went to the flea market.
That was Saturday?
Yeah.
All right, so Saturday morning, I'm looking at the timeline in the news feed, and I'm seeing that the artist formerly known as Pretty Boy Day and the bestie, better known as Shelly Shell Williams of Urban Expressions and so forth and so on, was going to be at the Hood Flea Market, sponsored and organized by Sawd from Country Cooking. Shout out to Sawd for always doing things in our community. We appreciate you. If you don't know Sawd's story, she had the biggest prom send-off in the city of Philadelphia history for her son. She caught a lot of backlash. She also got a lot of attention. And since then, she's opened a restaurant. She's gotten her food placements in supermarkets and other vending spots. She's gotten distribution through. But she's constantly giving back to the community. So one of her latest ventures has been the Hood Flea Market. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the Shirley Kills building, used to be, or right next to it on Broad Street. And it's a 3-story building with a lot of space. I believe because it used to be a venue, but I may be mistaken. They also have the parking lot next door that's by the auto body shop that they put a big tent up, and they have vendors in there too. So it's 3 floors indoors, and then outside there's a huge tent with, I guess, could fit at least 50 plus vendors, depending on, all vending spaces vary depending on who you put in the space, right? Mm-hmm. But a lot of people in one space able to make some money, able to congregate and exchange and probably do other events together. And I think that first of all is honorable in itself, right? But I'm walking through this building, and I'm remembering I saw like a week ago, Wallow went through there, probably a week or two ago, one of those days, and I feel like him and his people bought something, and when I say his people, like him and his security, so basically him, bought something from everybody in that motherfucker, and when they was walking out heavy and excited, and they felt good about supporting, and I thought that was a good look. So now walking through the building, I'm like, oh, this would it look. So he was here, you know what I mean? And I'm looking, and I'm like, damn, it's a lot of tables in here. And then I get to the 3rd floor, and I saw a day at the door. He told me, go to the 3rd floor. I'm going to see 1010 and Shelly Shell. So I get up there. I see Shelly Shell. I see 1010. They got their setup going. They offering ad space, interviews. They supporting all of the vendors. They doing their thing. And I'm like, yo, this is really freaking awesome. And then Salt came up there and gave a little motivational speech to the people about how to promote the situation. And I just think that as a unit between us two, who we seek vendors all the time. Mm-hmm. We understand that vending is a lifestyle and a business for a lot of these people. It's not a hobby, and for some of them it's a hobby, but they all offer dope and random stuff. Yeah. So if this is going to be something that she regularly does, I don't know if that's the purpose of why she has the space or has use of the space. I don't know if this is just until she figures out to play with the space. But I think that it's awesome because the vending seasons vary and they get
Absolutely.
dry, and the price for spacing and things like that vary. And if you can't guarantee you're gonna have the traffic, then what I'm paying $150 for a table for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that there's a happy medium with what she's doing. Everybody seems to have felt like they were represented right. And one thing that I had to tell Day, because Day was like, bro, we got here at like 7. Motherfuckers was here at 5:30. I said, vendors vend, bro.
No, that's regular.
Vendors vend, bro. They packed overnight, took a
Right.
nap, and rolled out.
Right.
Or
Absolutely.
rolled out and took a nap.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a game. This shit like tailgating. What you mean?
So was there anything there that you wanted to get or that you got, or
I didn't.
what was the shopping?
I was very early, and when I say very early, I was there about an hour after it was supposed to start, but people were still getting situated.
Okay.
Which is understandable because, like I say, with 3 floors of stuff,
Yeah.
and you're on Broad Street, and people have to maneuver vehicles and unload, and
Yeah.
once you get situated, you still like, damn, I gotta set this shit up,
Right.
and you gotta find outlets. It was a lot going on, so I really can't knock it. I really can't knock it at all. I do believe that, or I do I don't want to say believe. I do plan to next time go through there a little later.
Okay.
I wanted to go early so I could have time to talk to my people before they got busy, because I wanted to support Shelly Shell and Day and everybody, right?
Right.
But now that I'm sure they're going to be regulars there and it's not a thing to make sure that I have a conversation with them, I'll go at a time where I could just pop in on them and spend some money with some people. I think it'll be fun.
Absolutely.
I think it'll be fly, and I think we might be able to find some people to have on camera.
Definitely.
Maybe a new sponsor. Who knows? You know. I think it's awesome though. Shout out to Saw. Everybody might not agree with how she do, but she always do. You should do too. On your level, like she did.
That's factual.
So I think that's fair. Where do you think we should go next? Can we talk about
Wait. We didn't even finish the weekend recap.
All right,
This
so
was just
yeah,
part of it.
this was only Saturday.
Yeah, you didn't get to
I'm
Sunday. And you didn't
bugging.
even finish Saturday.
What else was on Saturday?
Your interview.
Oh yeah. Salute to my homegirl. Kind of starting to feel like one of my proteges, and I mean that respectfully, but just by talking to her. Hold on real quick. Yo, you live on SippinWitSammie.
Yo, broski.
What's up, Cash?
What's up, SippinWitSammie? How you doing, man? You didn't invite me to the live tonight. What's going on?
I was in the ER today, so I ain't really want to invite nobody through tonight. Shout out Bookworm tapped in.
Why were you in the ER, right?
My eye, I had an eye infection. I had to go to Will's eye and get situated.
Oh, okay. How's that going for you?
I feel better right now. I'm good enough to do the live. Like, we on live as we speak, but I was in bed all day for real.
I can dig it. You need to rest up, man. I was just calling you because I got Uncle over here chilling with me.
What up, yo?
Hold on. Sam, that's SippinWitSammie talking to you. And he on his live thing right now.
Yo,
What's going on, good brother? How you?
I'm good, man. How you feeling?
I'm maintaining, man. Maintaining. Nephew been telling me, young man, you trying to link us up, man, so we can, young man, get a little sit down popping.
I was just about to say, he told me you somebody I really need to have a conversation with.
Yeah, man. Why not? Why not? For
Absolutely,
sure.
absolutely. And we gonna do that soon. I appreciate you.
No doubt, man. All we gotta do is synchronize the schedules, you know what I'm saying, and we'll make it happen for sure.
You want to give my audience a little insight on what you want to talk about?
Well, that's what I was asking nephew. You know what I'm saying? I ain't know what whether it was like a specific thing that you wanted to have me in for, or whatever the case was. He said, it'll probably be just pretty general.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily have, anything specific, but we can put it together. You know what I mean? Like all we gotta do is sit down and kind of, put it together. I'm gonna let you lead it though, because this is what you do. So but I'm gonna, get my little input. You know what I mean? And yeah, we can come up with something creatively, brother.
No, it's all easy and it's all love, and we gonna figure it out soon. I appreciate you, bro.
All right, no doubt. Appreciate you back, man.
Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
keep doing what you're doing too, man. I be checking out your Jones, man. You know what I mean? Like you look comfortable in that seat.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's
Yeah,
love.
for
That's
sure.
love. That's
All
love.
right.
Yes, sir.
All
Cash.
right, we definitely get up though.
Yep.
Uh,
Cash.
yeah.
So I was just recapping the weekend. Can I call you back in 2 minutes? I need your input.
No problem.
All right, I got you. All right, so I did April Facts podcast, something that I've been looking forward to doing for a while. Once again, shout out Bookworm, love you to death, little bro. You already know that. Went through there. Shout out to Cindy, shout out to April, shout out to Chris. Yeah, and I met some other people there who, off top, I can't necessarily remember their names, but I had a good experience. The hospitality was decent. I like the podcast space that she's operating at. I think that it's a dope space to be able to rent and get your narrative off, so to speak.
Is it production built in?
Yes.
That's nice.
Yeah. So I thought that was fly. I think that the room was perfect. Like, I think everything went well. I'm proud of her because, like, I'll say people, but I don't really say who.
Mm-hmm.
But she's one of those people that I spoke to her when I guess she was in the beginning phases of trying to figure out how to do what she's doing now.
Yep.
And she's convinced that I was one of the very few that believed in her, inspired her, gave her game, helped her, and gave her an interview, at a time where she needed it. So I'm glad that I was able to do that. But on the flip side, she like, oh, the tables turn. And you know me, I like when I'm on the other side of the table.
Oh, yeah.
I don't got to think about all that shit. I just got to sit here and answer questions. Crack a little joke here and there. It's not even dependent on my momentum. What do you mean? And I'm at crazy. But I don't know when it's dropping, but I had a ball on April Facts. So shout out to her. Once again, shout out to her team. Great conversation. Touched on quite a few things that I think people will, one, find entertaining and also be able to learn from. Because, everybody asks me the real questions. Everybody, they sit down and talk to me. They don't want to know nothing about, what I mean? We get into what I do, but after that, it's like, yeah, so when it comes to this business. So, I'm always here to teach. I'm always here to help. And some of y'all just got to pay a fee. It's reasonable. Holla at Fire Productions.
Facts. So
Back to the weekend.
right, so that was part of Saturday.
Okay.
Did you do anything Saturday night?
I don't believe I did.
No, I think we watched
I was
sports.
low. I think I was low Saturday.
All right, so then yesterday.
Sunday. So it's Sunday. And hold up, I did something in the morning.
No, we were supposed to.
No, I went somewhere because I was about to pick up cash on my way back. But I didn't. I can't remember where I went in the morning.
Oh, you were with Aunt.
Right. Squad had a situation. I got called on for emergency recon mission. But no,
Facts.
but yeah, that kind of spun my morning a little bit because I knew that one, I wanted to talk and kick it with my guy and figure out where his head's been at since he's been dealing with the loss of his mother and handling her affairs, which is actually going on in real time. And my thoughts and prayers have been with him the entire time. I've been tapped in with him. What just went through the same, it's a few of my homies dealing with this, so we spread thin, but we here. So when he was in town, I'm like, bad, we good. Then he like, we gotta go handle this, and I'm like, I can go handle that, but I gotta be back because I got a long day. Luckily, we was able to do what we needed to do, and I made it back just in time to get situated. So I had to pick up C Cash.
Mm-hmm.
I had a meeting in Bristol / photo shoot in Bristol at 2:30.
Mm-hmm.
We had to be to the studio in Bristol by 4 p.m.
Yep.
I was 5 minutes late, what never happens, getting to the meeting. We did the thing. We took some flicks. We got some good shit done. And then we shot to the studio, and I was 10 minutes late to the studio. 15 minutes, something like that, right?
Yep.
So we get to the studio, and to be clear, this is not a Sammie session. This is a K session. As she made known the entire evening.
Yes. K session.
So I don't know what to really expect. So we go in there. I'm already, you know, a little, I mean, yeah. And we chilling or whatever. We getting situated. And the first order of business is to make a beat for the K.
Mm-hmm.
So, your part.
So, Ace made me a beat.
Shout out Ace the Chemist.
Which, if you've never worked with Ace before, I mean, just watching him create
It's crazy.
is awesome. Yeah. Like he's a genius, like
Absolutely.
an actual genius.
Absolutely.
And the speed at which his creative process comes, with very little direction is just insane. So,
and even when you offer input, it'd be like he's already on it.
Right. Every time. So I didn't really have to say much. I just said, you know my tones, leave it a little empty so that I can kind of build my own melody. And
That was my question. We plan to do post production. Cause it felt like a bed, but it didn't feel like the comforter was on it.
Well, that was purposeful. That's what
Okay.
I asked for. That was definitely what I asked for, because with the last couple of tracks that I've been on, the melody has kind of been either tough to find or prescribed. So I wanted something where I could actually like be creative with that part instead of just trying to figure out like a rhythm and words.
No, it's fine. A lot of artists prefer to work that way anyway, and a lot of producers actually. Like some producers that send you some shit that sound done and they know it's not done.
Oh yeah.
But you catch enough of a vibe off it that when you get it back, you like, God damn it.
And I've stopped Ace mid cook up to, stop making the beat because I had enough to work with before. So
So you literally wanted the bones.
yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool.
And it's great bones to work with. So I'm excited to start to play around with that and, figure out a direction and a concept. And
So no ideas yet.
no, so I haven't, I was just checking my email to see if it came through because last night it wasn't attached to the email, but it probably came through by now.
All right. So shout out to Streets, my boy. Streets, one of the first faces I seen when I got there. It was just normal if you record with Ace. Love his energy. One of the most creative motherfuckers you ever gonna meet. He didn't really participate in the session, but I just love having Streets around. Shout out to Ace the Chemist for always being consistently dope and a genius. But we took C Cash with us. Marissa pulled up with the husband, and then Rhythm HB pulled up after work with the all white on. Right?
Yep.
And let me call Cash back. Now that we got that far.
Now that we got that far.
I'll put this upside down so it's closer to the mic. Let me be creative. Check me out. Yo.
What's up?
So we talking about the session last night, right? The
Oh, man, phenomenal session, man.
the K session.
I feel like a whole new artist, man.
It's a little different when you in a K session, right?
Right. Listen, before the case session started, she kept saying she got a beat from Ace. I'm like, why is she buying beats from Ace? I don't understand. I didn't even know that K was an artist. Like, I was fucked up.
No,
You know what I
real
mean?
rap.
But she did her thing. HB did her thing. You did your thing. She was dope, man. I really was appreciative to be a part of that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think we created a vibe last night.
Like a crazy hip-hop / R&B jazz type vibe record. Like,
Yeah, we might gotta
Niggas ain't doing
gotta submit that to the Grammys.
we gotta shoot a video for that shit. ASAP.
That's definitely true.
And you know it's
Battle rappers don't make them type of songs at all.
and you set it off on that motherfucker too. You went right in your feelings.
I mean, it was some shit I just went through, literally.
No, that's what I was saying today. I was like, yo, the boy really just put. He did as I walked into the studio to do this with Jig.
Where you want to put? Yeah, but that's how. Yeah, that's how it was. Like the shit just happened. Like I just got in some hot water with my wifey, and then y'all put this record on and start talking about certain things.
Filling up cups and shit.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, shit. Well, feel the same way. Let's not talk about it. Art imitates life, so let's get it.
No, I
Absolutely.
think, but that's what make it.
You for DJ Khaled in that joint, man. You special for that, man. You definitely put that whole shit together.
I be trying to show these motherfuckers I was at A&R first, man, but it be exciting to me. Like, I love it. Like, the fact, like, even what you just said is like, it was divine because you didn't come up with the concept. HB came up with the concept, but you was going through it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's dope. But what I was going to say, while I got you on here, because I don't want to hold you up. I know you vibing with Unc.
Yeah, it's all good.
We had a session this week, too.
Oh, me and you?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was just, AI not coming to practice, coming to the game. You know what I mean? Shit like that.
Rest in peace, Pops.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That was, a day after his birthday? What day was that we went in the session?
I think it was the day of.
No, it wasn't, because his birthday was the 31st. We did the session on Friday, I believe.
All right, so it was right
we
after.
Both do too much. We both get inebriated too much to not remember what we did a couple days ago. But yeah,
I think it was
it's
a couple of days before, maybe like one day before his
I'm
birthday.
basing it on how you post, so it's hard for me to remember because you be posting.
I think it was after that. It was after Pop birthday.
All right, we'll go with that. That's cool. I ain't arguing.
Yeah, but I had a couple records that I like to express myself in my music. I think that's the biggest reason why I do music, because in your everyday life as a middle-aged black man, you can't necessarily just express yourself all willy-nilly to anybody and people don't really care. You know what I mean? Or it'll get you in some trouble. So I feel like with music you could be completely uninhibited with that. So that's basically all I was doing. We did a drink called Lonely, another joint with me and you called How You Live. Kind of trappy vibes. You know what I'm saying?
I told my life story a little bit on there.
Yeah, you definitely dug into some crazy big time and teenage life shit. But then I was talking about I got a joint, I had a soulful type of record on there. Shout out to Meek Spady. He just told me the other day that the verse is about to be done on this Wednesday.
Let's go.
I mean, you know how long it takes people to get back verses? Like, come on, man.
No, that's
and
beautiful.
this
crazy.
Shout out Spady, man.
Shout out to me, Spady, man. This bull is accomplished, man. Did number 77 on Billboard, been on fucking Breakfast Club, shit like that. Philly, like, serious. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to him. I think I let Bill Collector hear that joint Stalking, because I wanted to get like some battle rap energy on that joint. You know what I'm saying? So you might hear that soon coming out.
Shout out Bill. We just seen him live the other week ago.
Right, and then I just seen him at the Battle Academy event.
A couple days ago.
Right, a couple days ago. Yeah, so it was definitely a good joint, man. We had a productive weekend. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I want to tell you that I was excited to see how you work in the studio because that was my first time. Mm-hmm. But you got a lot out of a 3-hour session, and I mean, like, your efficiency, your preparation, every song sounds different. You're a different personality or energy. You played 5 superheroes in one night, and I learned some shit about you at the same time. So I felt like you used your time perfectly.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Coming from where I started at, we used to have to, be fighting to get in the studio. You know what I'm saying? It'd like be 10 dudes in the squad and everybody trying to get in the studio. So I used to always have my stuff ready at home. Like, all right, when I go to the studio, I'm going to have it ready. Like, every day for no reason, I'm reciting, like, a song just to have the patterns and be comfortable with the music and with the beats and with the flows. So that's the thing that I do. Like, when I'm ready to go in the studio, I always got my stuff lined up. But at the same time, it's magic when you go in there with more than one creative and you can, just put something together. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, because you was a little anxious at the beginning of that case session. You was like, bro,
Yeah,
what
I'm
I'm
like,
supposed to
what the
do?
fuck
I
is
ain't
going
used to this.
yeah, like I'm like it's hours going by. I'm like, how long is we in here? Because
I'm like, just catch a vibe. Just catch a vibe.
Yeah. No, but it's cool to play a passenger like that sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I'm good with that.
And we was in there with 2 vocalists and a producer making a beat on the spot. So it was kind of like,
Right.
yeah, let them get what they got to get because we going to rap.
Right, and a producer that can rap too, not to mention.
He hopped on there and went crazy. I ain't even notice he laid his verse. I came back. I'm like, oh, he went off again.
Right.
That's my guy.
And he gave it some edge because we was talking more about like the relationship thing, and he got into like a little bit more provocative type of topics and stuff of that nature. So
That's what you
was
want.
dope.
That's what you want when you produce an artist. Fill in the gap, baby. Like, don't just
Right.
get on here to get on here. Let's balance this thing out because you hear it.
Right.
You hear it
Right.
first. And if you tell me, I'll do it. But if you got it, do your thizzle.
Right.
No, I had a ball with y'all yesterday, and I ain't gonna lie.
Nah, seriously, me too.
I was just saying how I told you when we was on the bridge that I was in pain all day. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
That's what I'm about to say. It's crazy, like to know that you was going through all of that
Yeah,
while we was
man.
doing everything.
I got up this morning and
fine.
went straight to the herb, bro. I couldn't even play no games, dog. But I couldn't sacrifice all of yesterday. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I understand that completely.
So it is what it is.
I done been
I
at
knew
plenty shows
I
and
wasn't
battles.
contagious. So
Yeah.
I've been at plenty shows and battles with headaches, and I remember one time I was performing this crazy record, and my head was hurting so much I had to grab my head and like dance while I was performing, but like I played it off like it was part of the move on stage, but really I had a stupid ass headache. You know what I'm saying?
I used to get migraines when I was young, but when you play basketball for 3 different fucking teams and 5 different leagues, like your coach don't want to hear that you got a headache at practice or during the game. So like
crazy.
I used to have to man up with migraines. Like my headache, nobody could even understand what I didn't have a regular headache. You know what I mean?
No,
But
for sure.
but you used to feel every step, and I'm trying to maintain my average. I don't give a fuck if I average 12, 25, or 18. I need my
Playing
buckets.
basketball with a headache is crazy.
It's
brother.
crazy. Every step hurt when you got a migraine.
Yeah,
I did
jumps,
that.
all that. Your heart beating fast, like that's crazy.
I did all of that shit, man. I was a savage.
But I
we grew up
appreciate
in
you,
a different era.
Yeah, for sure, exactly. And we grew up before you in the era where you couldn't do the extra step off your jump shot. Shit.
Right.
There
Nigga.
wasn't no fucking Euro stepping, and it was a walk. You
I
know what I'm saying?
could freeze a nigga and still get another move off? Are you crazy?
Yeah, like that's crazy.
I'd have averaged 40. No, but I appreciate you, bro. I'm gonna talk to you soon. Anything you want to say before you get out of here?
Shout out to SippinWitSammie. Shout out to K. And go get Networth Project right now, streaming on all platforms. You already know what it is. Your boy C Cash. Check.
That part. Appreciate you, bro.
You already know, bro.
Love you too. Yeah, man. Yeah. So back to you.
Me.
You still here?
I'm still here. I'm here.
All right. So we got Cash's interpretation of what happened in totality yesterday during the session. What's your breakdown? And based on what he just said too, because like I literally, y'all don't know. He was like, bro, you know me, like what I'm doing, what we doing. I'm like, bro, just chill. It's cool. Like I told you, he knocked out 5 songs in 3 hours and it was all good. So like, you know, he worked like twins. Shout out to twins. Shout out to the baby, man. Love you to death.
Well, and it's funny. So I was mostly talking to HB the majority of the session.
Creatively, absolutely.
Yeah, and which makes sense because we were both vocalists, and
we trust y'all. Y'all do y'all thing. HB a monster. You get it.
And one of the things that we kept bringing up is like, it's so fundamentally different as a vocalist who sings versus writing a rap. And I'm not saying that one is like easier than another or anything like that.
It actually goes both ways.
Absolutely. But it's just fundamentally different. Like
singers have to write less, but they have to deliver different.
Exactly. And the way that both HB and I kind of approach song creation, versus the way that some other folks might approach song creation is also very specific. And her and I are both the type that typically wouldn't write in studio. Like, we would take a beat home, think about it, like start to play with concepts, play with melodies.
I'm the only reason HB do that shit.
Exactly.
She only does it in sessions that involve me.
Exactly. So already to be in an environment where you are, one, creating on the spot, two, collaborating with a bunch of people, most of whom you haven't worked with before in that sort of setting.
Right.
That's a lot to put onto somebody. And shout out to HB, because she is such a humble, like, selfless person that, like, I could tell that even just being in that situation where she felt like creating the concept and like creating the ultimate vibe was like up to her was a lot for her. Yeah. Like, she's, you know, she is a very collaborative person. And I was also really proud of her because during the session, she like stood her ground with some creative decisions that I think ultimately, you know, turned out to be great.
Now let me interrupt real quick. Anybody that knows my studio style, one is very Khaled at a lot of times. Like, I'm gonna have them folks in there. We gonna see what we come up with. But it's also trial by fire. It's also boot camp. It's all of that shit. And it's not necessarily intentional, but we don't get to choose the environments that we get paid for.
Absolutely.
And if you don't exercise that muscle and learn that now, and I'm not saying it as if it's against you two, I'm saying in general for like the people that's listening, if you don't figure out how to operate sometimes in chaos, you see what I'm saying, and everything in between, then you're paid for production. You're not paid to tell nobody the circumstances you want to produce under until you're Mariah.
Well, and also, I think the other thing about that setting, and like, this is because, you know, we're all friends.
And mind you, this is the first time I've been to that studio.
Right. But we're all friends. Like, everybody who was in there yesterday, even if they didn't know each other before they got to the studio, like, it was a friendly, like, loving vibe.
Right.
Which gives people the freedom to also not take these creative decisions personally.
Exactly.
Like, you know, you can give people real feedback about what you think their part of the song, or like what they should be doing, or how they can enhance what
Cash
they
was
were
correcting
already
me the
doing.
whole time I was recording.
And but that works.
No,
Like,
you know, I ain't give a fuck, because
exactly.
I be trying different energies, and he was like, no, just do this. And I'm like, all right, cool.
And it's also like, it's okay in those situations to, like, you know, shine to the front or fall back depending on what the vibe is and what, you know, that song needs.
If you listen to the way that Ace mixed it, my ad-libs drag on beyond anybody else. My ad-libs go past my verse.
Mm-hmm.
And it's intentional, but it fits for him to come in afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to, like, give him what you got and trust, because like we said, he's a genius.
Yeah.
And nobody in here cares about anything but delivering.
Absolutely.
So as long as HB know, like, when she got her shit off, I'm like, well, she bodied that. When he started moving shit around, put the effect on this, put this up there, turn that down, turn it, I seen her reacting like, yo, you on it. Oh, you killed that. That's, you know what I mean? That's the genius in him. And she's also an engineer and a producer.
Mm-hmm.
So to see that was just like, yo, I love that shit, man. But go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, that was also really awesome to see, is like two producers kind of working together on a track in a production sense.
I love watching them together, and I love what he said right before she got there. He was like, I'm like, bro, why is it taking you so long to figure out what we doing? And he was like, man, HB about to come. This shit got to be right.
He definitely did. Because he was playing a couple of beats, and Cash was getting excited about a few
was like,
of them.
nigga. But see, that's the street shit. He was playing them dirty joints.
Yep.
Because he got them.
Exactly.
But he was trying to find a vibe. Mm-hmm. Or he was trying to figure out if she cut through the dirty joint to flip it, like, ain't easy.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? There's a balance. And when he said that, I respected it. Because I'm like, yo, he didn't meet her or grow up with her a long time ago or none of that shit. Their respect for each other is something that I wanted, the same reason I wanted them to meet each other.
Right. Right.
Basically. You know what I mean? But go ahead, my bad.
No, so to see them kind of play off of each other, bounce ideas, and like collaborate, and even tell each other no was dope.
You gotta say no sometime, man, because when it's audible, I can't compromise that moment.
Yeah.
Like, if I say it's not going to fit, or if I think it's not going to fit, and then I fight to make it fit, then we don't get the best product.
Absolutely.
Now, if I say no, and then you tell me how to get it done, or you tell me no, all you got to do is this, and I got it, then that's different. But I got to say no first.
Right.
So, like, I love that, man. I love that. I love that.
And you got to be willing to try things too. Like sometimes, even if you don't hear it, you got to try it, and maybe it'll be there, maybe it won't. But
You know what I want to do real quick? Shout out Uptown Easy, right? We had a situation. We still working on the ins and outs of the 250th. God willing, we'll still be able to get it done. We got time. But he was helping us with venue spaces, and we had one, and it fell through for whatever reasons. I'm not going to disclose somebody else's business. But Easy hit me up. He let me know, and he hit me right back and was like, I'm going to reach out to this spot, and this spot, and see if they... And motherfuckers don't do that, yo.
facts.
And I'm like, bro, it's not on you. He like, no, you just try and do this. I want you to get it done. And I just appreciate that. So shout out Uptown Easy for being the same nigga I said he was on his episode. Watch it. I've been getting a lot of feedback about it. Our overlapping network and even our non-overlapping network, like the people we know separately, it's been a real reaction that I actually have been able to notice. It's dope. It's dope. And it's dope because he has a hell of a network. And I got a lot of people on my side that's like, nigga, why you ain't never tell you about Easy?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's dope. It's dope. It's dope.
Right. So what was... You've heard my perspective now, for the most part.
I've been sprinkling mine. What you want me to say?
Well, the only other thing I wanted to say was... I thought it was interesting that Ace hasn't been rapping, and all it took was another studio session, and,
With me?
Yeah.
Well, like... I don't see, and if you pay attention to the music and you pay attention to like where I've been when I feel creative, Ace is bro, and we have an energy and a vibe, and we both can be overly aggressive or play the middle on records, to where like a lot of the times it's easy for us to balance each other out. Like check out Flavors off of the Foundation mixtape. Shout out to Vu. When he said the yeah, which is his regular ad-lib,
Yeah.
I'm like, he about to snap. Because he was like, sometimes you say the yeah, then sometimes you say the yeah. And when he came on, I'm like, yo, and we had already had the conversation because he like, I use a lot of figurative language on Flavors. And I'm like, bro, we not committing to nothing. We insinuating shit. Nothing's extreme and nothing's tough. When he hit the yeah, and he started talking and talking with strawberries, I'm like, oh, he got it. So now when people hear it, there's people that know him that didn't know he get busy like that because they maybe didn't listen to his music, but they've heard him on the Flavors joint, and they like, that's Ace? Yo, he crazy. And I'm like, that's not his best record by far, or his best verse, but for that premise, for that situation, he snapped on that shit. And like, as somebody that plays sports, like, that's what we here for. I'm not one of them niggas. If you say he got the best verse, I love that for him. But when I was coming down the court and I broke the press, somebody got to get this bucket. And that's how songs are. And I feel like he did that again last night. I feel like he found another moment to hop on and smash. Right after me and Cash got busy and got groovy, he got crazy. And I think that we made a solid record. Like, I'm not joking when I say that record could be 5 to 7 minutes.
Oh, no, I completely agree. But it's,
That's 4 right now, I think. 3 and...
I think it's 3 and some change.
Like, I think it's like 358. Like, some dumb shit. Like, it's like 4. But I think that if we wanted to play with the vibe, and I played a couple of records that showed them what I'm talking about, you could stretch it without fishing at all.
I mean, shit, I could add to it.
Yeah, because you only and mind you, your parts on it stand out. But I think you could give us more.
Yeah.
Was it a time restriction?
No, I don't think it was a time restriction as much as it was like, I feel like the creative process for that day was complete. I feel like we all felt that way once we got to that point.
I ain't gonna lie. By the time that thing was playing back,
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I'm also okay with it the way it is.
But
I don't
think,
know that it needs to be added to.
remember, there was a time where the song was playing yesterday, and a ad lib or a vocal came on, and I was like, "That's your part,"
Mm-hmm.
and I high fived you.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could create more of those. I think you have it 2 or 3 times on the record.
Twice.
Yeah, I think you create more of those, but in different ways. But I think if you ride with it, you'll wrap your head around it.
Yeah.
Because just like I tell producers, like, don't snap or clap to something if it's not on the beat while you playing me the beat. Because if you hear it every time you hear the beat, why is it not on there?
Right. Right.
And that's because they heard it after the fact.
Oh, shout out Riz. She's in the comments.
What's up? Riz was at the session, man.
She definitely was.
You want me to call you, Riz? I'll call you. I'll call you. You got me in here looking like a wrestler. Started my day in the ER. They had to take all my chains off for the x-ray. I felt like a rapper. But we got more topics, man. But salute to all of y'all, even Riz and her gentleman that's always accommodating, always just dope energy when he's around.
He's such a nice person.
He's dope, yo.
Yeah.
He's dope. Shout out to H, for real, for real. Like I said, streets. HB is little sis. Cash is bro. Like, we was in there having a family vibe, and we came up with something that I'm really, really excited about, proud about. Now, is that your record?
No, I don't think it's my record.
Is it part of my 6-pack?
I don't know.
Is it an HB record?
It might be an HB record. It might be... But I mean, HB also has... HB is very calculated with her brand. So, like, HB might prefer it to be a feature for her.
We'll talk to HB.
Yeah, so we got to have that conversation with HB. I think it's also something that could stand as a collaboration. Like, I wouldn't mind rocking with that creative group again. And
So,
like,
can you want to release it as a one-off?
possibly, yeah.
And do a whole run behind it? Because I thought of that earlier today, too. One thing I just want to respond to something I said earlier when I said my shoulder and my back and stuff. When y'all see me doing all of this shit, that's why. Like, and if you ever watch me for a long period of time, you'll probably be annoyed by how many times I do shit like this while I'm on air. But that's part of the problem. That's part of the pain. But man, we ain't complaining. I'm just explaining to y'all that I ain't make that up. I just did it in real time without thinking about it.
Yeah, you're doing that public speaking thing again that your teacher told you not to do.
No, but only because it was acknowledged earlier, and I think that this is the time that we just gonna acknowledge the third wall.
That's fair.
Yeah, sometimes you have to do that. Like, it's the difference between public speaking speech-wise and trying to identify with a live audience. I gotta sometimes break that wall down.
You want to tell the people about this next?
But you're right about the thing. I see you was paying attention. I like that you picked up what I was putting down. Urban Excellence Entrepreneur Awards, man. Let's do this. Let's do that. Shout out to First Lady Tweet,
Absolutely.
Shakita. If you know anything about what she's been doing in this city for the last few years, she is the Rose Train. She get them flowers out often at a high level. And she recognizes a lot of people, and she tries to actually do way too much. I don't want my sister to burn out. I don't. But sometimes I feel like she be right there. And I've been there before.
Right.
But, you know, what she's building, she wants to be specific. And when she finds people that she trusts to take on other additives, then they will. But once again, she's doing an Urban Excellence Entrepreneur Awards. And I'm pretty sure mine is around here, right? That one? Yeah, Honored Entrepreneur, yeah.
Yep.
So we got one that's on the shelf. This is another one of those times that I get excited about because I know when I show up, God willing, we all able to make it there. It's a good time. I'm around dope people. I'm meeting people I didn't meet. I'm saluting people that I respect. Everybody that wins, I'm excited about, whether I was on a ticket or not. You know?
Absolutely.
But the Urban Excellence Award is not even that. It's specific. It ain't like, you know, who won for a category. She's saying this person is getting honored tonight. And but I'm just talking about the energy of these type of rooms. I want to be clear about the difference because I realized I was describing the rooms, and they might think that that's what this is. This ain't the Grammys. This ain't the Grammys. This is you deserve this. You gonna get this, and you gonna be in a room full of people just like you that deserve it.
Absolutely.
So what do you think about it? What do you think about the things that Tweet has done? Like, you know, Tweet.
I think it's dope. I think it's coming up on Saturday, May 25th, because that hasn't been said yet.
Well, you know what's crazy about May 25th?
What? Besides that it's your birthday, almost.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm being town.
That's fair.
But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Tweet. She's definitely always looking out and making sure that, you know, folks are honored and appreciated for the work that they're putting in, you know, regardless of what level of entrepreneurship or what type or sector of entrepreneurship they're in. And she really brings out some dope individuals, not even just from Philadelphia, but, you know, she had people traveling for the last year's event. So
for all of them.
absolutely. So I think that that's awesome too, because it's not, you know, it's not every day that you get to meet folks that are doing awesome things in all of these other places.
I love
shout out
it.
to her for having that network too, because that's dope.
I love it. And you know, as our community full of people that say, yo, ain't nobody out here doing nothing until the white man, until the cops do something. She put you in a room full of people that are doing something. And that really minus the excuses. I saw a man get honored that recently had a health scare. And when he accepted his situation and it was at one of her events, everything was about his wife. Holding him down through something recent that he couldn't have even imagined. But he's somebody that holds y'all people down all the time. And he didn't speak about what he was going through. Him and his wife handled it. You know what I mean? And he's on the mend, but nobody's out the woods till it's over, right? But he's still doing for the community, and you can support him. And all you gotta do is get one of her magazines or look at one of the flyers or go to her Instagram and see who's on her page and follow those people, man. They dope people. If you really want to support your community, you really want to know how to help your community, she's one of those people that has a network full of people that she puts on her page, not just in her story.
Right.
That you can tap in with, see who you vibe with, see who has an initiative that you want to support, see who might lead your children in the right way. And build a relationship and give them a couple hours, a couple cases of water, a little bit of elbow grease, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
I think that that's important. So I want to salute her again. She's a queen. She'll randomly DM me positivity. Shout out to my guy Sonny also. If you ever watched the episode that I had on here with my man Sonny that I went to Morgan State with, he actually lost his father while we was filming that episode. And I damn near drove him back to Maryland because I had to make sure he got back safe, but he did without me. But since then, Sonny does probably bi-weekly check-ins, yo. Yo, how you feel? Here's a message. And his message is worded perfectly and is directly towards what I'm going through that I didn't discuss with him. It's weird. It's like reading your horoscope. You know how some people swear by the horoscopes? It's like when Sonny say it, I'll be like, how the fuck did they know? You know what I mean?
Sometimes people just be in rhythm with others, you know?
And I love him for that. And then the conversation afterwards actually leads to what I said earlier. He be like, yeah, because I just spoke to Wook or I just spoke to Ant.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You keep the main thing the main thing.
Yep.
But we don't forget about everybody else. And a lot of my friends are better at that than I am.
Shout out to T for that too.
Shout out to T. Shout out to Bug. It's a lot of y'all that y'all definitely call me more sporadically about me than I do y'all, and I know why. My friends have been having dreams and nightmares about me since I was a young adult, man. And some things cross their spirit, and they just be like, yo, he's in a good place. You know what I mean? Who's that?
R. Jones.
Randolph.
What's good, Rube?
Shout out to my Kappa OG. Shout out to somebody that has always opened doors, arms, and brain power to whatever I had going on. You know what I mean? And always celebrates his brothers in a real way. And you should aspire to live life like a brother like Randy Jones, man. He one of them. You know, the most powerful people. And sometimes he play Mighty Mouse, and sometimes he break through that shit and puppy power his way into something that you be like, man, that's why you was chilling. Love him to death. You see what he said? Rude.
Mm-hmm.
You know. We talk about it all the time on this platform if y'all keep up, but yeah.
So you want to go Grammys or sports?
Let's go Grammys. I've been excited to talk about my boy.
All right, let's start with him.
You know I love him.
So Killer Mike swept the Grammys last night. He was nominated for 3 awards and won all 3, including Best Rap Album of the Year. Shout out to Killer Mike.
This is another one of those times, like, I don't know if, like, I think when the Grammys come around, there's always a narrative, but it depends on what community or what artist you care about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this year, since Killer Mike dropped his album, everybody that cared about this culture in a real way, or maybe from an OG perspective, was saying that if Killer Mike don't get some flowers for this motherfucker, if he's not recognized for this, if he didn't just prove to y'all that this thing don't have an age limit on it, then the world is going crazy and we just going to give up on y'all. I think people have had that stance on Killer Mike's album, Michael, since it dropped that's in the know. Or that have voices from the know, right? Yeah. Is that fair?
I think that hip-hop media especially has been championing
exactly
this album. 100%.
And anybody that's listening to us, watching us, whatever have you, if you haven't seen it, heard it, because he has a lot of visuals. He actually dropped plenty of videos from this project, which is not normal.
Right.
He's done it before, but I'm talking about quality level, intention, and all of that is different for this time around. He was intentional about this. And
well, he's different this time around too. Like, he has been doing so much in terms of like advocacy and activism in the last, however many years, that I feel like his maturity and his thought process has completely changed.
But I remember watching plenty of interviews of him on the press run when it was about to come out and when it came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying what his intention was, what he talked to the producer, the initial producer about, initial collaborator about, and what they was trying to figure out. And I think he started out thinking it was going to be, let's say, for instance, $125,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then realized he was going to have to spend $250,000 to $500,000 to get it where it needed to be, and it was going to take 18 more months than he thought it would. You understand what I'm saying?
Repeat that one more time for the audience. You said one album was going to cost how much?
He sought out for about $100,000, $125,000, $150,000 or something was what he had calculated with production, making moves. He's done this before.
Right.
And without a lot of support. And at some point he realized that it was going to take triple the time that he thought and cost probably triple the investment because it needed to be perfect. And everybody had to buy in for it. And even though they spent a lot, some people took shorts to make it happen.
Damn. So that's over $500,000.
I don't want to say the specific number because this was a while ago, but I watch these things religiously, and I love Mike. He spent triple what he planned, and he was already in 100,000.
Wow.
And this is an independent type of grind.
So all you who are complaining about $30 an hour for studio time,
or your husband or boyfriend going to the studio and spending money on studio time,
right? That's crazy. So
his wife is he's a businessman, but his wife make the real plays. When he said he wanted $100,000 vehicle, she showed him an apartment complex they could buy, and that car was off the table.
The comments just said $700K.
$700K.
Yep.
So that's basically mathematically along the lines of what I'm saying. If you think about, he went in with a 150 to 200 investment and then wound up tripling. We still there.
But you know what? That was worth every cent of that because what he created was a magnificent project. I mean,
moment.
I think that like it cemented his legacy.
Which is what we always wanted for Mike. Because he fights for us.
Right.
Mike fights for us. And when I say us, every one of you motherfuckers that give a fuck what I got to say, Mike is for you. Mm-hmm. In some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
Get hit. My bad. Go ahead. I get emotional about it. Because sometimes things happen to people that are not the people. And motherfuckers act like the pendulum swung wrong.
Well, and I think to your original point and how you kind of started this conversation, this is one of the few times that we can point to in recent history where the Grammys have gotten it right in a timely fashion.
Yeah, because they give makeup calls.
Exactly.
If you ever play sports, you know what a makeup call is. You got fouled. They called a foul on you down there that you ain't really do. So the next time you come down the court, you go whisper in the nigga ear and they gonna say he fouled you.
Yep.
But it winds up being, instead of you getting paid for Malcolm X, you get paid for training day. That's what it is. Instead of being acknowledged for what you did your whole career, you don't get acknowledged until a white man fuck you so hard on camera, it look like he raping you.
Right. Well, and that kind of brings up the next hot topic from the Grammys. JC's acceptance speech for the Dr. Dre Lifetime Achievement Award. Is that what it's called?
His name is Hov.
Okay.
His name is Hov. But go ahead.
Okay. Hov's acceptance speech for the Dr. Dre Lifetime Achievement Award. He definitely took a very pointed view and, included some criticism towards the Grammys themselves and some of the other decisions that they've made and things of that nature.
You know my two favorite quotes?
Yeah, please.
That doesn't even make sense according to y'all standards. And, I'm sorry. When I'm emotional, I tell the truth. That was so crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't think people realize, like, when y'all talk about power couples and shit like that, you are looking at you're looking at the Eiffel Towers stand next to each other and hold hands. They know how to make the most out of a moment. Mm-hmm. No matter what. And they know how to erase everything at the bottom like they graded on a curve.
Yeah.
Y'all are watching the closest thing to Obama and Michelle operate in entertainment. I don't think y'all really realize that. Like, it's all a business move. Mm-hmm. And it's about it's not just about money when I say a business move. When I say a business move, there's also legacy involved in that.
It's a culture.
You are going to remember that we did what we did, whether they say it or not. And you know how I'm going to make sure of it? Thank you for this, but how she want more than anybody the fuck else and y'all ain't never gave it a biggie?
Right.
Layup. My bad. When I get emotional, I tell the truth. What? I love this nigga, man. No bullshit. Like, you don't understand. If y'all could be as poised as Hov, remember when Hov used to only diss people on features? Mm-hmm. And then he wouldn't even say your name. You had to know. I just listened to the What's His Name yesterday. He said, I just flip an onion. Sorry, Lance. I'm just trying to advance my quotes. I ain't making you the butt of my joke. That's crazy. You don't fuck with somebody that operate like that, yo. I'm just saying.
Definitely not.
Anything I'm missing in the chat?
Yeah. So
what
someone said that the Rap Grammys need the grand stage on live TV.
Can we talk about Grammy tier? Let's get into it.
All right. Let's talk.
Shout out to Killer Mike.
I was gonna say I want to make sure that we let the Killer Mike
salute
thing breathe,
OG,
because I don't want to put any stains on what he accomplished and
I'm not
his
even going to talk
recognition
about
for
how
it.
y'all detained my boy. Y'all can talk about it, but what I'm going to say is, I'm sure he was sitting in that motherfucking situation smiling from ear to ear, man. He whooped ass tonight. He'll be out by tomorrow. Gangster shit. He been through worse. Salute to Killer Mike, man. Love you to death, man.
Absolutely. Shout out to him.
He
Well
one of them
deserved,
people,
well deserved.
He one of them people I have no problem with, like, you know how they say don't meet your idols in real life. Don't, you know what I mean? I think Killer Mike is Killer Mike is Killer Mike.
Absolutely.
Love you, bro.
Absolutely. All right. Let's get into it, Sam. What is Grammy tier?
Now, part of the reason that I thought this was a thing, right, or that I thought it was important enough to discuss is I hear a lot of conversation about building our own Grammys
Yeah.
or comparison to who goes to the BET Awards or the Soul Train Awards and all of that, which don't hold the same capacity, caliber, and even by design are not the same.
It's not an EBGOT. It's an EGOT. For a reason.
It's a fact. That was crazy. You still in the studio?
Oh, my bad.
That was crazy. You giving the bars right now?
You know, I got a few.
You broke that down. I mean, it's not an EBGOT. That should have been a fucking title. You should have said that an hour ago. You'd have been good.
Oh, my
But
bad.
no,
But it's true. I mean, there's a reason that there's a prestige that's placed behind the Emmys, the Grammys, the Oscars, and the Tonys. It's a thing.
that's a fact. It's just like when you dealing. Remember who Kanye used to go on rants about because he wanted attention from the big dogs in fashion. There's levels to all of that shit. He's talking about the motherfuckers that own all of this shit.
Yeah.
From Louis to Cognac.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That's who he was fighting for their attention a few years back before he got positioned in what he was got going on. But like trying to spend them other people money, he like it don't even matter until I'm acknowledged by this set of people.
Right. Right.
It's the same thing in entertainment.
Absolutely.
Same thing in entertainment. And I know I go far left to go right, so I apologize if y'all didn't get the comparison, but it's very similar. It's the same thing, but what actually happens is these are the people that manipulate the thing. If I say BET Award winner, it doesn't mean the same as Grammy Award winner. And that's not based on how many stars show up.
No. That's based on the prestige of the award.
And the prestige of the award has been built over time, has been very exclusive. They have made it into a club to where for you to even catch up to it, you have to slow grind. Because you have to make it exclusive. Exclusive don't mean big numbers. Don't mean recognition, don't mean accountability, and it don't mean that the Grammy people ain't gonna run around to all these media platforms and make sure they don't cover you.
Right. And not for nothing, but the Grammys, this was the 66th annual Grammys.
What you think you're gonna accomplish by 20?
So if you think about it in terms of other institutions and that type of mentality,
Told y'all an hour.
like this, the Grammys are basically like, you know, the ballet, if we're comparing this to like dance schools. Like,
Well, I hate that comparison, but I'm with you.
but there's a prestige, but there's also a traditionalism that comes with that prestige.
But there's levels in both.
Yes.
But go ahead.
And I think that,
I'm sorry, I know a little bit about that world. Y'all might not have heard that story, but go ahead.
and I think that when new things come along and like new genres come along, yes, the Grammys need to adapt 100%. I'm not arguing against that at all. But I think also they are slow to adapt by design. And intentionally, 100% intentionally. And that is part of the mystique and the prestige that they need to maintain for the sake of their brand.
Now, I've had conversations with Suzanne Christine.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard conversations on plenty platforms of people that are able to vote.
I was going to say, which, if you don't know, Suzanne Christine is in the nominating committee for the Recording Academy. So she is part of these conversations when it comes to Grammy consideration and Grammy nominations. Go on.
But what I just learned this year for the first time, out of all the information I consumed, was that there's still this small percentage of people that's not accounted for that nobody knows who they are that still have a voice and a heavy vote.
Yeah.
So we could say that enough people with votes from our community don't exercise them because I think it's similar to a lot of different things, kind of like Champion of the Year with Battle Rap, where you don't get to just vote on what you want to vote on. You either fill out the whole form or you don't participate. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times our people's like, well, I don't even know. Them other motherfuckers is voting on everything.
Which, to be fair, some of the hip hop media takes that I heard today about like Miley Cyrus winning for Flowers and things of that nature, that was a really big song. Like even if you hate Miley Cyrus, Flowers was a really big song.
But this is what, and this is a way bigger story. This is what affects people's mentality if you've never been out of your neighborhood or if you're talking about politics. People relate what's going on to what they've been exposed to. So if they say it didn't cross their table, it wasn't big enough, it's based on their reach and their algorithm. Same way that I tell our people all the time, like, yo, you know that our Facebook is full of more bullshit than your white counterpart, right? You realize your white counterpart is not saying, screaming to the top of my lungs, happy birthday. They're making Full House videos and saying happy birthday.
Or just leaving a meme on your wall.
But it's certain things that we do that count for more than it's really worth.
Yeah. Definitely.
And we think we're doing something because we're doing what everybody else doing.
Randy said, in-season tournament is not the chip.
That's a fact. You know I'm a Lakers fan, right?
Although I do really like the in-season tournament, mostly because of the courts. I like the changing up the courts.
I know you like that. My thing is...
I really like that.
When it comes to the in-season tournament, I think that it's one of those new increments that if it lasts, it's going to take a few years for the whole league to adjust to, even the mentality around it from the players. I think that even if you talk about, let's just put it down to, okay, they won an in-season tournament and they hung a banner for it. When you a Lakers fan, you like, that ain't no championship. Why we hanging banners for that? But the players went hard for them every Tuesday and Friday.
Right.
They ain't lose a motherfucking game to get that motherfucker. So like the placement of like how it's supposed to exist in our mental or the zeitgeist of everything is still like yet to be developed, because also you got to see what teams do after they win that, and that's based on more than one team, especially a team that's old and prone to injury. As much as I love my Lakers.
Well,
Is that fair? Randy, tell me if that's fair. But I think that it's too new to really like, but it's not a championship. I don't disagree with your statement, but what I'm saying is we're not going to know what it's worth for a little while if they keep it.
I will say, and
They done a lot of shit all-star that we never seen come back.
This is maybe my, bias considering recent events, but I personally don't like the fact that they introduced the in-season tournament and all of these rules about game minimums for MVP and all-star consideration. At one time.
It was a lot in one season, and I forgot to show y'all. This how good my tore up tease was. I don't know if y'all remember the tore up video, but I still got the only double colored tore up, and I watched this shit 100 times. It's still, yeah. But no, I think that it was a lot in one season. I think that even with implementing it, right? They both happen for the same reasons. They're trying to maximize the fan experience, so to speak, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you say, we don't want you not playing in certain cities because you know it's a game y'all going to win without you, or you don't want you taking breaks unnecessarily.
But I don't...
So we're going to say that if you don't play this many games, you can't win this.
I don't think that basketball gets to get it both ways. Like, every other sport has to choose between either having a contact sport or not playing that many games in a season. Like, if you want to have stars play every single game, you can't have this many NBA games. The only reason it works in baseball is because how often do you get hurt playing baseball? Like, it's not a contact sport at all.
It's super random most of the time.
Yeah, it's just like running around and chasing balls. And
it's not part of the course.
Yeah. So, to me, and like, I really...
Like, Embiid went out for a collision.
And I really appreciate... We gonna get to that. I really appreciate the longevity of some of our basketball players' careers. Like, there's something to be said about how amazing LeBron looks.
We also know how much he spent to be that healthy.
Exactly.
Most people don't make enough to give $5 million a year to
Exactly.
their body.
And when you are a professional athlete, your body and your health is everything. That's your ability to make money in the future. So to risk that just to get the fans like the opportunity to see some star that they don't always
Why
get
the
to
camera
see.
not on you? Don't you got a U camera? You tripping.
I do have a meat camera, but I don't be using it.
You
But
tripping.
my point is, I don't think it's respectful of the athletes as professionals. I just think that it's not right. And I think that load management, when done correctly and done in a responsible way, is worthwhile just to have the longevity to be able to have these big name stars that you can call GOATs for your league.
So can we have the other conversation?
What's that?
The coach that said, all right, if my GM or therapy staff, my what they call it? The people that make sure you're healthy and all of that. If
Trainers?
the trainers. If my training staff, my bad, I've been drinking. If my training staff gets to make a decision on if my player plays tonight or not, whether that's based on something immediate or something that's for the long haul, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my job is based on how many games we win. And we lose a certain amount of games because these players didn't play based on what y'all said was preventative.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Your job should be up for cancellation when my job is up for cancellation. Is that fair?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Elaborate.
Now, here's where I want to go. We all know that my Sixers are down quite a few starters. So if you haven't been paying attention, within the last 2 weeks, we've been playing without basically our entire starting lineup. Maxey and Tobias Harris just came back over the weekend. But before that, they were both out. Melton has been out. Batum's been out.
Mm-hmm.
And Embiid has been fighting through a knee injury
Shout out to Reed.
for
I like Reed.
quite a few games.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to back up all the way to the Denver matchup. So right before the Denver game, where the Sixers were on the road in Denver, Embiid was scheduled to play, and he was warming up. And in warm-ups, the trainers, the medical staff, did not like the way that he was playing, and they decided to pull him from the game probably about within 15 minutes of start time.
Right. Which is like, this is part of it.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, what happened in the media afterwards and the NBA League's reaction, I thought was
Unfair.
completely unfair. I think that it's 100% the medical staff's job to oversee and be sure that our athletes are in their prime condition to be able to handle this type of combat. Because ultimately, like, you are playing a very physical game when you're playing basketball.
I'm going to race the car regardless because I want to win the race, but you got to let me know when the car is in the shape that it can withstand the abuse that it has to take on this track.
Right, and especially when there's now all of these different incentives that the league is building in, that you can't qualify for MVP, you can't
don't
be
make
an
a certain
all-star.
amount of money, or you don't get certain bonuses either. Like,
Right.
it's affecting people's pockets right now.
Right, so there's all of these different pressures to make you play throughout all of these injuries. And then, what happens? 2 games later, Embiid is now out probably for what might be the remainder of the season.
And
due to a meniscus tear.
And if you paid attention to that game, he was constantly going to the back before he actually went out of the game.
He was limping
not
when he
comfortable
started the
entire
game.
He was never comfortable in that game. They were never comfortable in that game, and they were actually trying to combat social media or media narrative at that time to make sure that he was out there because he got a lot of backlash because it's been years since he's played in Denver.
I really think that the only reason Embiid played that game at all was because of the Denver situation and because of the backlash that the media was putting on the decision and how last minute it was. And ultimately,
we know 7-footers have problems with joints and extremities anyway.
Right.
Like that's per the course. Just because he could play like a 3, don't mean that he don't suffer from 7-foot shit.
Absolutely. And I'm so disheartened to hear about his injury.
Back to you. Put the cam on you.
They did just announce before we went on live that he has elected to get a procedure. So he's probably going to be, we're assuming that means he's probably going to be undergoing surgery and most likely out for an extended period of time that might take him through playoffs. And that might be the chip.
Procedure means at least surgery.
Right.
I'm going to be honest. There's a lot of other terms that we can use to soothe people. When you say procedure, that means that it's extreme.
So
Not extreme as in like career ending, but I mean extreme as in like, no, they're going to cut some shit.
So as a Sixers fan, I'm pissed. Not at Embiid, not at Nick Nurse. I actually really enjoyed what Nick Nurse was doing with the team this season. I thought that we were playing extremely well. I'm already talking about the season in past tense. That's how upset I am about this whole thing.
Transplants.
But I really...
the fuck out. Get out of our fucking city. You ain't even fucking born here.
Right.
Oh, my bad.
Motherfucker.
I 100% blame the NBA league. I blame basketball media. And that's what I have to say about that.
So let's talk about media.
Let's talk about media while we're on the topic of basketball. So we just watched Pat Bev's podcast. And if you missed it, Pat Bev...
Shout out Pat, my guy.
Right. I'm like struggling to even introduce this
No,
topic.
like Pat one of us, yo. Like we gonna fuck with him like AI, even though he ain't AI, because he ran the race the right way. We fuck with Pat.
So
shout out Pat.
Pat Bev has a podcast. He is on Barstool. It's been doing amazing numbers. It's super entertaining. If you haven't watched it yet, please go check it out. But he is also obviously a Sixers player, and his media crew, so his producers, his co-hosts, himself, they are all
I love it.
credentialed
I
media
love it.
folk. So they are 100% permitted and allowed and credentialed to be in these press conference rooms, locker rooms,
yeah,
everywhere. So
yeah.
before we even go any further,
Pat,
shout
I'm coming.
out,
Pat, I'm rolling with y'all.
Shout out to Pat and their whole team for taking that route, for getting the credentials, for like even being a podcast that wants to take ownership of that space. Like I love it. I love it.
And it's a lot of pressure. People think that like they taking advantage. Like you don't understand. Once you put yourself in that light, that means something.
Absolutely.
It take confidence to do that shit. I don't want to overlook that. But go ahead.
So what happened was there was a press conference down in Orlando. This was preceding the game.
Yeah.
The game with Sixers versus Orlando, and somebody from Pat Bev's production crew was attending the press conference and asked a question during the press conference. The question was 100% basketball related. It was a very normal question that any other media personnel could have asked. And when all of this happened, it didn't seem to be a thing.
Not at all.
Now, somewhere down the line, about 10 days later,
Right.
all of the traditional sports media platforms started to
Create narratives.
create a narrative.
No, they actually ran with narratives.
About
they did more than create them.
Absolutely.
Let's be honest.
So they basically said that they accused Pat Bev of putting a plant into basically insinuating that he was trying to gain insider tips or secrets that about the other team to better prepare the Sixers
or set them up.
or set them up.
Yeah.
There was a lot of wild accusations, and then there were like even just like little tidbit add-ons that we're just adding to the ridiculousness. Like something about the producer having 2 women accompany him to the press conference, which those women were in fact the normal photographers for the Sixers team.
Like me walking in with you inside.
Yeah. And they were insinuating that it was some sort of like, I'm walking in with 2 ladies type of thing.
Funny.
Which it was not at all. So, this kind of brings up a wider topic of new media and specifically podcasts kind of adapting and filling in gaps in what was a traditional and old media world.
The old media world don't matter no more. And it's funny because I watch It Is What It Is every morning with Cam and Mace. And they are literally pinpointing how certain things in the media we're accustomed to are actually adapting to what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And some of those things, they are not wrong about. And I'm saying like some is in the majority of those things. Like they're literally pausing things on mainstream sports media now. They're literally cursing on mainstream sports media now.
I mean, even the graphics, like if you watch TNT during football, during NBA, like the graphic style that they are now incorporating into these traditional sports media platforms is very much so taken from podcasting and internet content creators.
Let's go beyond that. You selling it short. You don't even realize what you just did. I was just explaining this to April Facts, right? Hip-hop has changed everything. It's changed everything. You don't name your chicken spot the same thing anymore. It's no longer Thomas's Chicken. It's Wang Bang Wangs. You know what I mean? You got to have a bigger 3D effect on your marketing. Even down to the sign on your building for your business. Like everything is turned up now because we make everything brighter and bolder. We show people how to make it cooler. In order to compete, one of the things I always joke about is when I go down south, I see a restaurant or a shack or a shed or whatever have you, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, on the side of the road that just says pork. Mm-hmm. It just says barbecue. In the world, beyond them adding hip-hop to all of their marketing, they're still, without our voices, naming their things differently, presenting their things differently. We affect all of this. So when we get into the media space, it's the same thing, yo.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why I always say they ain't had to want to sip with Sammie, but they sipping with Sammie for a fucking reason. It's cool. I don't know what makes it cool. I've been Sammie my whole life. One way or another, right? Mm-hmm. But ultimately, I'm just keeping it decent with motherfuckers that are trying to get somewhere. Or have got somewhere, and I'm trying to share game from them with my audience. My job is actually like identifying the space that I'm in more so than what I do in the space because I'm already who I am before I got here type of shit. So like we affect everything. We affect the old media, but what's happening is I'm seeing a flip-flop. I'm seeing that we're starting to say that old media is not responsible for their sources, where they used to say that about us. But the part that we're missing is they're forced to find sensationalized shit when they're not used to doing that.
Well, I think also one of the stark comparisons is new media reports based off of relationships that they have personally.
Whole lot of insiders they can't fucking tell us about.
Whereas,
but you know, I can make up a story and say that I have an insider if I don't have to report my source. That's like having a CI. Like that don't sit well with hip hop media. That sound like cop shit.
No, you're missing what I'm saying.
All right, my bad.
What I'm saying is new media reports from their personal relationships. So they have personal connections
more insight
with these people that predate their role in media, and that's where they are reporting from the majority of the time.
So are you telling me, hold on, you just Eureka the fuck out of me. Hold on.
Okay.
Are you telling me that our style of media as a culture puts people in a position where I don't have to exploit them and I can still get the same reaction out of what they say.
Yes. That's exactly what I'm
Is
saying.
that what you just said?
Yes, because you
Oh,
can
okay.
have the real human conversation
Oh, okay.
that these old media folks can't have
Oh,
because
okay.
they
That's my new
approach
ad-lib.
everything as outsiders that are trying to get the scoop, the story, what have you.
You know what's crazy?
What?
How many stories have we been privy to? I want to say it respectfully. Like, we're in a blessed position, right?
Absolutely.
How many stories have we been privy to? I want to hear what everybody could get out of they folks. But I want it to be from a perspective of respect for the levels and the things, the trials and tribulations that we have to go through to even be notable, to even get on these platforms, no matter what level that's at. And I want it to be fair when we judging people. I don't want people to think that notoriety, which is why we talk about the shit we was talking about earlier with the Grammys and so forth and so on. Like, we're from a generation of millionaires that still might catch the subway to work.
Mm-hmm.
We no big eyes and little U's, yo.
Oh, and I think that's actually a great point. I think that this generation relates to relatability in a way that previous generations haven't. Like, I really think that is a product of the times. That's a product of social media.
And it's a part of
product the
hip hop.
youth. Oh yeah.
No, it's a part of hip hop. Hip hop has done more for race relations, terrorism, what's all the other isms that separate people in this country?
Sure. Yeah. Of course. Of
Right?
course.
Middle classism, all of that shit, right? We have done more for that as a culture than anything else that existed in this country besides war. And actually more than war. Because certain things were decided based on war, but we're seeing in recent times, nothing was settled.
Yeah.
In hip hop, you could be from Taiwan, skateboarding, breakdancing, wearing FUBU. I can be a creative that has 50 followers, and you identify with me. And when we blend what we do, we have 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we in different times. But that was created by the hip hop experience. That was created by us telling the world that there's a ghetto everywhere you go. And then what? Right?
Yeah.
That's what we created. Oh no, I fuck with you. Oh no, I feel your story. Rich white boys was able to say, oh shit, what my dad said about you isn't true. He just doesn't understand. True or false? True or false, okay?
True.
So, we did more for race relations than the motherfucking Pentagon. What we doing, man?
So before we get off of sports, I do want to touch on one more thing. We do have the Super Bowl coming up.
Oh. It's a black quarterback in the Super Bowl again.
There is. There is.
Remember when y'all used to say them running quarterbacks won shit? Remember y'all used to be like, they don't know how to throw an accurate ball if they black? Y'all remember this shit?
I just want to say it from the rip.
Top four out of the top 5 motherfuckers is black motherfuckers that know how to move their legs and throw that thing. My bad.
You keep cutting me off.
I should. Go ahead.
All right. I want to start it off by saying I do have the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. That is certainly my pick.
Why?
I'm not gonna bet against Patrick Mahomes, personally.
You watched the documentary.
Well, and not to mention Kelsey too. Like, Kelsey plays different when the game is on the line.
Okay.
And I think the two of them together, they're gonna find a way. They're gonna pull it out and win a Super Bowl.
So you got the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So let's talk about halftime.
Let's talk about halftime. Are you excited for Usher?
I'm ecstatic for Usher, and I'm not ecstatic from a position of like ecstatic to watch it, and I'm not saying it for no kind of reason, but like in all reality, I champion creatives being celebrated all the time, no matter how, and they get to decide how they accept their celebration, right? But this is clearly a moment that he appreciates, that he's worked towards. He tore Vegas up for the last year and some change, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said he'd be on his 100th show by the time the Super Bowl come around. Like, it feels like it was written. And then for Hove to be the one that called him 5 in the morning and say, yeah, it's time. It's like this movie shit. Like, I don't think y'all understand. This is so cinematic. As much as y'all want to make it about Taylor, if you understand this young man's career, this is icing, this is frosting, this is candles, this is sparklers. This is everything that he deserves for his centennial. You know how your gold anniversary, your platinum anniversary. Like, this is one of them.
Yeah.
For him. And I want to be clear about that. Like, no. Regardless of anything that surrounds that, I'm so excited for him.
I think people...
He gave us his whole life. Go ahead.
I think people also underestimate the amount of hits that Usher has in his catalog.
What do you think he could do in 14 minutes? You know he got 3 hours worth of fucking Jones. You gonna say, oh my God, I didn't even know.
He is gonna... How many songs do you think he's gonna hit in 14 minutes?
In 14 minutes, I got him probably doing over 8. I would do over 8.
I think he might hit 10.
Yeah, it was 8. I said over 8.
I think he might hit 10.
I'm so used to betting on these apps. But no, over 8 is because, like, if you give me a 7-minute set, I'm going to do 5 songs. 4 to 5 songs.
And Usher is such a performer.
And I'm not Usher.
He's more than just the music that he creates. He's a great singer, but he is an amazing performer. I'm so excited.
No, okay, they going to skate.
Yes, I'm so
There's gonna be
excited.
a skate ramp out there probably. Like, and I don't mean like skate like skateboard skate. I mean like they might roller derby around that bitch while he's singing. We don't know what's gonna happen. He skated his whole fucking tour, his whole residency.
I need to figure out when I'm
I
gonna
said
cook
tour.
for it.
I apologize. His whole residency.
But yeah, I'm excited. Excited for the commercials. Actually, this year I'm a little disappointed just because for the last like 3 weeks they've been doing trailers for all of the Super Bowl commercials. So I feel like I already know kind of what's coming.
No, you don't. I feel like that's part of them understanding that a lot of the commercials have been underwhelming for the last 3 to 5 years. I think they're trying to create momentum.
Maybe.
That's my stance. We'll revisit it, but that's my stance on it. I think they're really trying to, like, from, you know, I'm a marketing major. I felt like they were winning, and now they had to adjust to the new way of doing things, and now they're trying to do build-ups.
I feel like they're just feeding into the conspiracy theory about it being like a trailer Super Bowl because of Travis and Taylor.
But they might get it wrong for the same reason.
Yeah, who knows?
Right.
Who knows?
Right.
But that's my Super Bowl picks.
All right. That's cool. Let's get into Justice with the Mess, man.
Just with the mess.
And the tea is real. I need a beer, too.
Which, shout out to Taylor, because she makes some of the best intro audios
Taylor made it!
ever.
Nah, shout out Taylor. She from Philly.
Taylor, if you want to make Sippin' with Sammy some audios, we could really use that skill. I'm just saying.
We clipping this. But honestly, though, on some real shit, Taylor, I know you local and I know they keep you on the move, even though you from here. But if you ever situated, you more than welcome to sit down and
we would love to have Taylor.
tell your story. I would love to have you on here. And that's not, I crack a lot of jokes, but I respect what you do, Queen. You've been running that race with that man for a long time, and you've put him in a position to be in the best position that he can be in based on what you do. And I think that that's awesome.
And not for nothing, but she like hit the ground running right out of school. Like she's super young is my point.
But she went through trial by fire. The same shit I be on. Like, they was grinding her up. They was putting her in positions. They was joking about her relationships. Like, she had to really find a way to find her place in them situations at a high level. And I respect that. Because I'm one of them. If I believe in you, I'm going to do you the same way, because at the end of the day, it ain't going to get no harder. It's only going to get easier if you can withstand this shit.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But so you listened to The Breakfast Club. You at least watched most of the clips. So what did you think? How was Jess's first day?
I think that I actually said early on that Jess was the best, and it was the young lady from TMZ, if I'm not mistaken, that I thought was close second. And I'm also how do I say it? I'm in this media space, right? So there were certain plays that they started making that were kind of obvious to me. So when they went through their whole little thing and everybody was like, no, Jess blew it because she announced it prematurely and this is a bit network and all of that. I was like, Jess is not that stupid at this point in her career.
No.
Like, I didn't believe it at all. Now, not saying that I foresaw what they were doing, but I didn't believe that Jess blew it by announcing at a party over the holidays that she's the new, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because that wasn't set up. That wasn't that was like a camera phone drawing. Like, that wasn't like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That wasn't a rollout. That was her having fun and somebody caught it. They were celebrating her. So one thing I knew early on about her being a part of the cast was that she was actually had good chemistry and was actually great at it. Her weakest link, if you pay attention to what she's done since she's been on there, is reading in transitions, which is not about her ignorance. It's about her transitioning to the speed and the pace of what she's doing. Mm-hmm. And I thought she could fix that 100%. She's been through worse.
Absolutely.
So I'm super excited for Jess. I actually, should I say it, Kay?
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. I think Jess is better for them than Angela Yee.
Oh, that's what you were scared to say?
I wasn't afraid to say it, but it's early. But if we gonna make, you know what I mean? If we gonna give hot takes, I've always considered her better for the banter than Angela Yee, because Angela protects herself and shields herself a lot while throwing a lot of shots that she's not willing to take back.
Yeah, I think Jess can, take a couple of punches back from Envy and Charlamagne.
Yeah,
sure.
like, don't just call me gay every day.
Yeah.
And then we can't say nothing about nothing. And then we have evidence of things that you're holding against us, and we can't say nothing about that. But you just get to sit here every day and call us gay until you find another show.
Basically.
That's what she did.
Although, I mean, shout out to them because they've been very gracious in how they speak about her. Especially Charlamagne, like, he always, includes her in when he speaks about, like, what Breakfast Club's legacy is and, like, how they became who they are. And, like,
Shout out to Mano
all that. But
for holding down Angela. Because if not, and I got old pictures with Angela. I appreciate Angela. Jess is better for that position. She's better cut to take the banter. I don't have to, like, I can't sit across somebody. I can't sit across from somebody whose dad thinks they're still a virgin.
that was a weird take, but okay. I don't think Angela Yee's dad thinks that she's a virgin.
She's given that take before.
That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
But all your girlfriends is freaks, and you got a freak podcast. Anyway.
Okay. Before we get on too much Angela Yee hate,
I don't hate Angela. I love her to death. She showed me love when I met her. And we tore that stage up in New York that night. We acted crazy. Shout out to A Spitz and Mad Labs.
with the Super Bowl also means TV is back. Now, if you're like me and you watch a lot of TV, you've been really struggling over the past 6 months to find anything good on because
Turn the camera on you. I gotta go get a beer.
The strike really killed everything TV-wise. there just has not been a lot of new shows this past in the fall of this past year. There was a whole bunch of reality TV, a whole bunch of new competition game shows. Some of them hit, some of them missed horribly. But yeah, it's just been a weak time for TV, obviously because of the writers and actors strike. But now enough time has passed, and some of our real TV is coming back. So I'm very excited. Obviously, Abbott comes on very soon, which I'm very excited about that one. That's one of our shows.
Quinta, love you, Queen. Pull up. Pull up. I know you got a lot of gowns to wear, but when you able to put on a sweatsuit, you welcome here, baby.
I'm also curious to see what new stuff comes out, because I think that now we're far enough removed that folks have had the opportunity to greenlight new projects and new series.
Aaron, what up, shoulders?
And there might be something new coming around the corner. I mean, the streaming platforms are definitely in full gear again. New stuff is coming out on the regular.
Marvel
and
DC finally met that plateau where they gotta give shit back. It's a lot that's possible right now.
And same is true with the networks. I think networks are finally, producing real TV again.
Okay.
So what is it that you're excited for, Sam?
Well, I've been having a ball with what's the shit. We talking TV shows. I'm not big on the Powerverse, but the Raising Kanan has been holding me down. But I'm also BMF is coming back.
Okay.
I'm excited about that. BMF has actually been pretty decent. Like, all right, let me break it down. I watched Power until season 2, and then season 2 it got ridiculous. I didn't necessarily stop watching it. It stopped being a priority. The spinoffs have been doing more for me than the original, but BMF has been consistent. So I'm excited about BMF coming back. I'm excited about Bel Air coming back. Right? Mm-hmm. Growing Pains is back. And if y'all haven't seen Growing Pains, it's a black family now. That shit is hilarious.
You know what I'm excited about?
Go ahead.
House of the Dragon's coming back this year.
Bruh.
I've been rewatching season 1, getting all prepped. Ugh, so excited.
You ahead of me. I'm gonna be trying to remember shit. You already on it.
Well, they didn't announce exactly what the start date is, but they did announce that it's coming 2024. So I think it might not be until summer.
All right.
Nonetheless.
Is your excitement ever based on the fact that the reason that they cut Game of Thrones short was because of production costs when it comes to this spinoff?
I don't understand your question.
So what I'm saying is, if you're excited about something that's connected to the brand and they've been actually downsizing, are you as excited as when the bag was already predated before strikes and all of this stuff you talked about earlier?
Yeah. That has no effect for me. So
I'm listening.
I watch all of the after the episode behind the scene how they make it for the Game of Thrones series,
Yeah.
which if you didn't know, HBO has all of those on there.
They're actually dope.
They're
A lot of series is corny, but theirs is actually fire.
They're super dope. So I was just watching the House of Dragons season 1 situation. And if you watch I think it's called I forget. It's some sort of play off of House of Dragons is the name of their behind the scenes show. But on there you can actually see, and they kind of allude to the fact that they overspent on season 1.
No, that's what I was alluding to. But
because they have a lot of, so if you don't know how TV production works, oftentimes there's different crews for each episode, and you call in a different set of expertise depending on what that episode or what those scenes call for.
Get down on the ground.
So they still worked with a lot of the old folks from Game of Thrones, but because this series is a little bit more intimate in its, even just its scope, like it's not covering 7 different families, it's covering the legacy of, you know, one branch of like 3 families, basically. So I think that there's a lot more intimacy that comes with that allows for smaller scale budgets. And I also think that this season...
Yo, you said that so well, yo. Go ahead.
I also think that there's... Clearly, I do production, so I think deeply about these things.
No, you said that. That was well said.
But
that's why I said what I said. You gotta tell me.
Season 2 specifically, if you've read any Game of Thrones books or you know a little bit of like the Martin lore, there's a lot of relationship building and dialogue that needs to happen this season particularly. So, there's a lot of building.
Whoa.
What?
So this season is based on if this happens or not. Like the success is based on the things you're about to get into. If they don't happen, if certain of these things don't happen, then it's wasted effort.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
All right, I'm listening.
I'm saying that the natural course of where the story was going already based off of the end of season 1 was already going to require a different skill set than season 1 did. So if you got to remember, if you're thinking about this from the fan point of view.
Oh my God, we getting nerdy. Let's go.
I'm sorry.
No, let's go.
But if you're thinking about this from the fan point of view, like you're still lamenting the loss of Game of Thrones. So you still want to see a lot of those same themes and like even just like visual effects, visual styles, the like iconicness of like the weddings and the crowning ceremonies and all of these like different tropes that you're used to from Game of Thrones. You want to see that created in this new series. So
I want to see another red wedding.
There's so much attachment there that it kind of limits the creativity of the producers going into season 1 of this spin-off.
Well, when you cut off half of them.
Story. But now that we're in season 2, there's already a familiarity with the characters. So it gives the producers and the writers a lot more room to kind of play around and dive into the relationships of the story, which you also need to keep in mind. Season 1, we covered so many years so quickly that the only natural progression is to slow down the movement of time for season 2.
That was actually part of the feedback on season 1 was that they jumped around so much, which was actually the progression of the story in one season. Yeah,
exactly. So I think that, do I expect season 2 to have a much smaller budget than season 1? Absolutely 100%. I also think that they're able to reuse a lot of the sets from season 1 because of the way that they did their builds. They did a lot of in-studio backlot style builds, and they also did a lot with what's called a volume room, which is basically where
Did they call Tyler Perry and get it for a fraction? No,
they film all of this in the UK.
I know.
They have their own studio that has a brilliant volume room. Anyway, so if you don't know what a volume room is, it's basically all of these LED screens behind you that are interconnected to the point where you can create CGI effects but see them in live time so that you can, like, from a director's point of view, completely understand what the final scene is going to look like, despite the fact that it's all just screens behind you. It's like a live green screen. You need to leave. But it also allows you to do really cool things with lighting and things like that. So as long as they still have those capabilities, they have the expertise that they need in terms of CGI manifestation and all of the like tried and tell how they create dragons and all of that, that's not going to change. So I think this season is still going to be brilliant. All that to say.
Word. We learned a lot. We learned a lot. Now, can we get into the battle rap conversation?
Of course we can. So,
look at you carrying it.
If you have been paying attention to battle rap media recently, there has been an ongoing conversation about the state of the culture in general and where we are in terms of the big leagues, especially in the context of last year where URL did not have as many big cards as they had had in previous years. The relationship with caffeine has clearly changed, especially in terms of the financial backing associated with that. And everything is an app drop now. So what does that mean for some of our bigger names in battle rap who are used to seeing these big checks
Let me add on
per
another.
battle?
Let me add on another caveat that you didn't mention. ARP is possibly retired or taking a break from battle rap, which means that you have the owner of URL saying that there's no money to be made and I'm going to do what I can do. And you have the owner of RBE possibly falling back along the same time that Norbs just won a lawsuit against URL and Smack.
So that basically leaves, as far as big leagues, we still have King of the Dot, we have iBattle, we have Chrome, and then we have the leagues that are built by battle rappers themselves.
For the most part, we're probably missing a couple, but you good.
Which I think that is also interesting in and of itself, because now we are relying on the battle rap league owners and a select few others.
And some of them are pay leagues.
Right.
Right.
To kind of curate the culture in this new way that we haven't made them do in the past.
Can I tell you a secret? It's going to reintroduce the street element.
What do you mean by that? Expand.
Battles are going to be based on bets made on fucking black market money.
Like a Midnight Madness type of thing?
Not Midnight Madness at all. The way it started in the beginning. The same way that it started in Philly, the same way that it started in Harlem, the same way that it started in Brooklyn. When there's a nigga that got 5,000 to lose, and if you play funny, you won't get out of here. That's how all this shit started. It started where niggas was at one point rapping just to say, hey, I'm better than you. And then somebody bet on him. And he was 14 years old. His name is T-Rex. You see what I'm saying? So now the money is going to be based on not straight up sponsorships, gambling and street splits. Because it's the only way you're going to be able to bring certain things to the table. So we can make it look legit for business.
So can we back up in this conversation though?
Go with me.
Because I'm still not sure that I believe the original claim that there's no money in battle rap.
Let's talk about it.
Like, I
think that URL is copping out to the caffeine era being over. Let's start there.
Oh, I completely agree.
Let's start there.
And I think that they're so lost in like grieving that lost sponsorship that they can't even like pivot and reposition themselves in a business sense to grow right now.
Shout out to Frozenberg. Frozenberg said, this nigga is saying this while his neck is frosty as fuck.
But
and not saying he don't deserve the fruits of his labor, but that means something to a motherfucker that's like, so I've been arguing with you over 500?
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like as somebody who books people, like I'm paying you your number.
Is my food and weed.
Right.
It ain't gonna buy me nothing I care about.
Right. But at the same time, like if you're diminishing the quality of your product because you're refusing to pay,
you skipped something.
What?
Product is not diminished. It's allocated to an app. So now I lessen your exposure. If somebody doesn't pay something, and mind you, if 50 people pay $8 a month for your app, you might make more than you make off of YouTube.
You're speaking from the rapper's perspective. I'm
speaking from Smack's perspective. When he built the app and he said, yo, we dropping 95% of our situation over here. When he decides that he can't pay you niggas no more, y'all don't have anything on YouTube to help y'all make more money. Because the average consumer is on YouTube. I can't market what's on the app versus what I'm gonna ask for when you decide to say I can't pay you that no more. But I rode with you when you said, yo, this a play, this the business. Take this loss because just because it's an app battle, I can't pay you as much as I would pay you if it wasn't an app battle, if it was a pay-per-view or something. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. I wasn't
They're
even
super losing. Easy is in a position of prominence right now because he left early.
I wasn't even speaking about URL specifically. I'm talking about the fact that people are not booking the big name rappers because of their numbers.
Same with RBE, but it's return on investment. It's ROI.
Exactly.
But ROI is based on how I run my business practice, not based on what this artist produces.
Right. And that was the ultimate point that I was trying to get to.
Okay.
Is if your league is not making money, that's because you are not leveraging the product that you are getting out of these rappers.
You're in a constantly changing market that's actually adapting to what you're doing ahead of what you're doing. You realize YouTube was built off battle rap.
Right.
So
And
the things
gaming,
that they
but yeah.
do, no. Gaming wasn't there before battle rap. It wasn't.
Yeah, but there are plenty of people who have never seen a battle rap in their lives, but have been on YouTube plenty.
But that's a byproduct. Like when the Philly rappers be like, when Reed be like, I was the first battle rapper on YouTube, there was no traction. You could say whatever you wanted. You could grab your dick and damn near pull it out if you wanted to. It was different terms. But what I'm saying is, the thing doesn't come from who's spending what necessarily, right? But it comes from, we had an era of caffeine. And URL was at a certain point during caffeine, which made their competitors have to operate.
But that was stupid in the first place, because if you know anything about
No.
business, that is not sustainable. Caffeine was never going to be about sustainability. That was a quick infusion and injection, if you will, and was never meant to be anything more than that. So the fact that you did not leverage that to create something that was more sustainable than what that opportunity was again on you.
I'll translate for y'all. It was a lick. It been a lick. We knew it was a lick the whole time. It's a lick. You just described in 1,000 words a lick. What you just said was a lick. You said lick, 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 lick. That's what you just said. Tell me I'm tripping.
No, you're right.
That's a fucking lick. These are street businessmen.
I was going to say, that's just not my vocabulary, but sure.
No, it was a lick. And most people that knew anything about momentum and leverage knew that it was a lick. And when you started seeing certain things happen, when we started getting charged for things we wasn't getting charged for before through the same entity,
When we started getting discounts for having the app on those same charges.
when we started seeing certain things not having the same balance, and we started seeing certain people making certain comments. All of these things were happening when the lick was dying down.
Mm-hmm.
When it was like, yo, they gave us this, we got this, we ain't gave them what they wanted, but we got to make the best of it till we out
When
of
we
it.
stopped seeing Drake next to Smack.
It's the same thing we seen from Young Jeezy, and Jeezy actually admitted it while I'm comfortable saying it. The last few projects that we seen while he was on that last label was throwaways. We all have 200 songs y'all haven't heard yet. He's putting together projects based on shit he didn't have no energy behind.
Mm-hmm.
And once he got out of that, he dropped something fire and ran it up independently. Like, that's what's really going on in all of these entities.
Now, here's an interesting thing. Do you think that now that we're in this place where there's no longer like a clear front runner in terms of like the leagues, do you think that that is going to, how do you think that that's going to change the landscape?
I think that Remy may or may have not jumped in the pot at the perfect time.
Okay. Okay. Do you
As a-
think that we're still gonna see all of the like monkey see, monkey do type of mentality of like
No, I think
copying other
no,
people's?
I think that marketing is going to take on another form, and I hope it does.
I do too, because I
Within
really
that,
think that that's the issue.
because what happens is we see, oh, this is what worked. You're relaying to an 18-year-old concept. You're not reinventing to the wheel. Like the wheel is still stone.
Now,
By now, it should be rubber.
is that going to possibly dilute battle rap because it's going to innately it's there's going to be more competition, there's going to be more market driven decisions.
If you're from my community, you know every shot just drives new creativity. You don't get it? Tell me what I didn't answer. I'm listening.
No, I mean, I guess that's one way to look at it, but I think that there still could be an argument made that like things could be diluted. So like if you're I'm just imagining like if you have to rely or like if you're even just building into these contracts now the way that they are as far as like you need to have X amount of like online engagements where you tag your opponent. You need to
That's not the issue.
do this type of calculated face off but no because now we're talking about proving your worth, so everything is going to become more metric driven. You
No.
need to show that you can create these numbers. You need
What's
to
going to happen is I'm going to breed an artist and make him believe that he is at the highest point and that whatever I give him, he should be thankful for. And the upper motherfuckers are not going to get in check from me. That's what's going to happen. It's going to happen. What he said is, I'm going to do the best with what I got. He's talking about breeding new talent on the back end of Easy becoming one of his biggest superstars while his other superstar went to jail and Easy opting out.
I think you're right that that's how URL will react, but I don't
No.
think
What's going to happen is you're going to have less leagues that can pay you top dollar, and you're going to see better production from smaller leagues with the same artist, and you're going to see certain people fade out. You're actually going to get a new balance. That's actually probably healthy. Honestly. Like, we're just getting to the point where battle rappers are trying to figure out if they need a manager or not. How many battle rappers you know got a manager?
a lot
What's the percentage?
low.
And Rosenberg is Rosenberg's brother. And Snake Eyes fired Tony Bro.
Well, and I was gonna say, I mean, shit, most of them have all the same manager. Like, there's only like 5 managers.
That's what I'm saying. Like this, like it's like hip hop to the count of like we look at it on such a high pedestal, but it's still brand new. It's still one of the newest forms of entertainment, and we put the pressure on it to operate at the highest level because the motherfuckers that we admire, we say he should make 60,000, 100,000 every time he show his face. If a league pay him that and don't get that back in pay-per-view, you can't tell that motherfucking shit. Look who's talking. It's John John. It's ARP. It's Smack. That's saying, yo, y'all don't recoup.
I think
When Cassidy been telling y'all for years, I'm the energy. When Hitman demands enough that he gets a percentage of the company or the pay-per-view. Most niggas working for front ends and back ends that equal up to 1,500. True or false?
the issue that I'm coming up against is you can't have one thing without the other. Like, if you're thinking about this from a league owner mentality, you're already handcuffing my profit margin because you want to see everything on YouTube. Number one. I don't own YouTube. They take a cut of everything that I'm doing, and I'm a YouTube creator.
I can't put my YouTube clip on my Instagram without getting flagged, and it's me.
Right. So
That's the problem.
So you're already handcuffing me by giving the ownership of my content to YouTube ultimately. Or at least the copyright ownership.
In the league, yeah.
And then on top of that, you want to cut into whatever else, like, you know, you want to do revenue shares of my YouTube streams and things of that nature. And on top of that, you want your number. Out of this scenario, I haven't named a single revenue stream for myself yet.
That's a fact.
So I do think that there's going to be more pressure put on battle rappers to carry themselves with a different level of professionalism, specifically when it comes to certain types of metrics.
This is why I said, do you want to have a real conversation? Because what it ultimately comes down to is most of society will do what makes the most for traction and recognition basis business versus business.
Well, and we need to stop this mentality that being
You know
famous
that's not my
means that you
mentality.
get...
You know that's not my mentality.
No. I'm not talking to you. I'm saying we need to stop this mentality that being famous means that you get paid. Because if we break this down, if you get 10K a battle, you battle 4 times in 4 months, that's still $40,000, right?
Yeah.
And that means you're a pretty upper echelon battle rapper if you're getting 10K a
But
fucking
you're
battle.
still a superstar if you go to Walmart.
Exactly.
You can still get shot at for being you for going
Right.
to Walmart.
And at the end of the day,
With not enough money to hire
40K,
security.
if you do 4 battles in a year and you make 40K in a year, that's not any better than if you worked in management at that Walmart. I'm not going to say it's as good as, like, you know, stocking shelves, but
I'm with you. Keep talking your shit. Talk heavy.
But so my point is, like, you have to deal with the realities of being famous, of going viral, and what that means for your mental space. And
that
like,
should be
your safety
200,000 or
physically.
better a year, minimum.
Well, but we are in this space now
It's a
where,
vacuum.
as content creators, that's not the case. There are plenty of people who know who you are, everything about you, everything that you do on the internet,
I can't get Jamaican food without a nickname.
before you ever get a fucking cent from being on the internet.
Yep.
And that's just real. Like, the majority of internet sensations nowadays, they go viral once for doing something stupid and then have to find a way to make a career out of that.
No, we've been in a position for the last couple of years where we actually have been trying to find money, resources, and feel sorry for the people that we used to joke about a few years ago.
Right.
There's quite a bit of them that have ran into health or accommodation situations that have been brought to the light, but they the same ones we used to clown and be like, like this motherfucker's like, yeah, we're part of the problem if we don't fix it. And we've been put in that situation, but we don't realize how to prevent that situation.
And you see, I mean, I liken this to the same type of things that podcasts are going through. Like, you see all of the different ways that podcasters are trying to approach garnering revenue, whether that's through ad reads, through Patreons, through selling merch, through live shows, through all of these different types of entities. And every podcast is kind of going about it a little bit different, but every single one is still getting criticized for the ways that they are trying to create revenue, whether that's through creating this exclusive content or doing all the ad reads. The fans are still unhappy that we are trying to create revenue out of this service that we're providing to the fans for free because of YouTube. And it like, at the end of the day, there really isn't a line of sponsors that are like knocking at the door trying to sponsor YouTubers, because the market isn't understood. Nobody can say every 1,000 views that you get is going to equate to X amount of purchases of said product if you do an ad read in this amount of time. Those stats don't exist because it's the wild, wild west out here. So if you find a brand...
It's a shooting gallery for real.
If you find a brand that is willing and to take the chance to even go out on a limb, content creators are then like, oh my God, I'm going to bend over backwards to make sure that this relationship works, because not only do like, not only do I need the revenue out of this single relationship, but I need to prove that this works in the larger scheme for the sector, for the economy of podcasting.
Time out.
This is Sipping with Sammy.
That's why
I am
Sammy
Mr.
don't
Flash,
tap
it only
dance
the
for
one and only
nobody.
Sipping with Sammy, Sam
Facts.
Malone, Barstool, Rug. If
Shout
you
out
ain't
to
sipping with
Beehive
Sammy,
and
you ain't sipping
ATL.
right.
I don't
Please
tap
get your
dance for
fucking
no
life together.
motherfucking body.
And shout out to our sponsor, Rich Tools, because she's actually great. And
You see me?
we waited for a long period of time to even start to approach sponsorships because we wanted to make sure that we weren't diluting our product.
This is Sipping with
In
Sammy.
doing
I
so.
am Mr. Flash, it
Like,
only
that
the
was
one
a
and only
very
Sipping with Sammy, Sam Malone,
intentional decision
Barstool.
for us. And I think, I think similarly, battle rap is going through the same types of growing pains. And I have all the faith in the world that it's going to get worked out. But I do feel like the next couple of years are going to be painful for a lot of people. And we're going to lose a lot of folks out of this.
I'm glad some niggas bought Dodges instead of Benzes.
Facts.
And I'm not trying to be funny.
Nope.
Like, I'm dead serious. I hope you put business before comfort so that you can have long-term situations. Because you are a star. Now it's going to be up to you and not the motherfuckers that acted like they was with you in it to figure out how to make longevity out of what you put down for them to live forever and for them to put their kids in Catholic school.
Actual.
That's fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool.
Well, that's it. That's our last topic.
What you mean that's our last topic? I ain't say that.
That's all I got for you.
Well, I got more.
Well, maybe I don't want you to.
Can we play the song?
No,
We can't play the song?
no.
All right, we can't.
What if
play.
somebody steals it off of YouTube? This is a
Well-
high prized possession.
So I
And
feel,
we didn't even figure out the ownership between ourselves yet, so nope.
I'll try it, y'all.
Sorry, y'all.
I be wanting to share shit.
It's me.
Y'all don't understand. My sessions is my sessions, and true or false, K? I'm 89% from the field when I line something up in the studio.
Oh, absolutely true.
Like, I got shit that's ready tomorrow when I leave the studio all the time.
But HB and I are a little more calculated with how we do things. So out of respect for her, out of respect for me, we ain't gonna give that to you.
Shout out to Heather and T-Rel. She's being Hurricane tonight, and we out this bitch.
Hey!
I'm sipping. This is Sipping with Sammy. I am Mr. Flash, it only the one and only Sipping with Sammy, Sam Malone, Barstool, Rug. If you ain't sipping with Sammy, you ain't sipping right. Please get your fucking life together.
Get down on the ground. Get down on the ground. Get down on the ground.